everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jackie and today I am here to do another book review for you guys, and today I'm going to be reviewing The Night Market, and this is by Jonathan Moore. This was sent to me in exchange for an honest review by HMH, so thank you so much to HMH for sending me a copy of this book. This is an advanced reader's copy, but this book comes out on January 16th, so I will leave a link in the description bar below if you guys are interested in checking this out. And this is an adult thriller novel that follows our main character Ross, who is investigating a murder in which the man who has been murdered is covered in an unknown substance that is eating him alive. And from there, as he is investigating this murder, he is sent away by the FBI to go through some testing, and he is pretty much poisoned. And then he awakes from this kind of comatose state 2 days later. Can't remember anything about the night, so it's about him trying to uncover what the hell happened that night. Like I said, this is an adult thriller novel, so if you guys are interested in that kind of stuff, this would be perfect for you. As far as my thoughts on this book, I did really enjoy it. It was kind of a big surprise for me. As most of you guys know, I'm not a huge thriller reader. It's not really my genre. But one of my goals for this year is to read more thrillers / mysteries. I will link a link to my goals video down below if you guys are interested in hearing any more of my thoughts. I go more in depth about the top or the 10 thrillers I want to read this year in that video. So again, that will be linked down below. But going into what I thought about this book, as far as the characters, I really like the characters in this book. We have Ross, who, like I said, he is investigating this murder, and it's really interesting to see his thought process as he is trying to uncover what happened that night throughout this entire book. We also follow another character. Her name is Mia. She is Ross's neighbor, and she is actually at his bedside the day he awakes from his comatose state, again trying to help him uncover what the hell happened that night in particular. So it follows them, and they grow closer and closer as the book goes along. So I thought both of those characters are really strong. Mia was my particular favorite as far as the two, but we also have a lot of different side characters that I really enjoyed. So overall, I think the characters in this book were fantastic. As far as the romance, there is a romance aspect to this book, and I honestly don't think it was necessary. It was just kind of there. This romance is between Ross and Mia, and again, it's just kind of thrown in there in the middle of the book. I mean, they really grow, the two characters really grow together as friends for a good majority of the book. I would say at least half of it, they are just friends. But then the romance comes in. I mean, it's a good romance. Don't get me wrong, I just don't know if it was particularly necessary to include. That's usually something you don't really see in thrillers, at least from the ones I've read. Obviously that could be different for depending on the book you're reading, but for me, this book did not need a romance. Then going into the plot was where I thought this book had its weakest point. The plot kind of jumped all over the place. This book is pretty short. It's only about 288 pages, so it's pretty short, and there is a lot of information packed into one story at this length. So that is probably why I found it so info dumpy. The information that was provided to us was vital to the story and trying to uncover the mystery, but also at certain points the info dumping just became way too much, and it got to the point where we had like 3 or 4 different storylines going on at the same time. We had the main storyline, which was kind of hidden under the wraps of everything else going on, and then we had different other murders on the side that were going on at the same time. So it was very info dumpy, but all of the mysteries that were going on kind of all came together in the end. So again, the plot was the weakest point, but again, I think it just has to do with the length of this book. And the final thing I want to touch on in this review is going to be something that I mentioned in one of my vlogs when I was reading this. And I'll link a vlog playlist down below if you guys are interested in hearing about any of the books I am currently reading. I usually mention them in those vlogs. When I was reading this book, there was a paragraph on page 23 of this book. I'm just going to go ahead and read it out loud. And it states, "But Carver could already feel it. The drink had tasted like liquid steel, but it wasn't any kind of metal. It was epilepsy in a cup. Spasms and chattering teeth. He slid off the bench onto the floor. Jenner had beat him there, was now bringing his knees up to his chest and opening his mouth in a silent scream as his body began to shake. Carver watched his own hands jerk against his chest, felt his jaw pop as his teeth snapped together and released. A dozen cycles in the space of a few seconds. The woman lifted the towel from the tray and picked up a jet injector inhalation gun. So obviously our main character Ross and one of the side characters Jenner have a seizure. Now, I've been very open with you guys for the past few months about my personal experience with epilepsy. I have had epilepsy for my entire life. So whenever I see it mentioned in a book, I always want to make sure it is portrayed correctly. And that was another one of my major critiques of this book. Usually with epilepsy, at least from my personal experience, the aftermath of a seizure at least leaves you with some sort of, I don't want to say damage, but there's some usual side effects from the seizure afterwards. Again, that's just from my personal experience. And with this one, I wanted to make sure that they weren't using epilepsy as kind of a plot device, and that's how I felt it was used, because the characters have this one seizure and then it's never mentioned again throughout the rest of the book, which really bothers me, because again, usually if you have a seizure, you're more prone to have future ones. Again, that's coming from my personal experience. Everybody is different, and that wasn't the case with this book, so that kind of bothered me. At the same time, they did portray it correctly with the way they describe what happens during a seizure. I think they did use it correctly with the spasms, because you can't really control those. And, you know, teeth chattering, that's all stuff that I have experienced in my personal life when I've had seizures. So as far as the representation of that condition in this book, it has its ups and downs. So I'm kind of in the middle if I want to say if it was portrayed correctly or incorrectly. I don't really know. But to wrap this review up, I did really enjoy this book. I think it's worth the read if you guys are interested. Again, this comes out on January 16th. I will link a pre-order link down below if you guys are interested in checking this out. But overall, I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars, and I would recommend it for you guys. And that is all I'm going to have for this video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe if you have not already. I'll be sure to have the pre-order link for the Night Market linked down below if you guys are interested in picking it up, along with all my social media links. So those include my Twitter, Instagram, Goodreads, and my blog. Again, those are always linked down below. And with all that being said, I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you soon for another video. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye!